We have the Star. We have Star Metro.
Right.
Kini TV.
Okay.
Azizo from Riot Post. And maybe we wait for another minute, then we start.
Can.
We still have a few media friends. Yeah.
Okay, when you're ready, you can start the.
Of the media representatives, if you have any questions, can you please raise your hand using the virtual button like this, which I'm going to put up, okay? So that we can actually come get over to you to raise the questions. And also, if you don't want to do that, then please do put your message in the chat room so that we can actually address it as soon as we can. Yeah. Now, this session will be recorded.
Recording in progress.
You can just press the continue button. Thank you. And if you do need the raw file, can you please contact Jeremy directly? He will give you his contact details in the Zoom chat right now. And you can actually send a private message to Jeremy. And also a very important note for all of us to take note today, please don't stream today's press conference.
Sorry, no. You go ahead.
So streaming for today.
Okay.
Okay, great. Now the press statement is currently being translated to Mandarin. I believe it's already ready. Jeremy has it, and he will also be sharing on the Zoom chat shortly, so you can actually have a copy of the press statement both in English as well as in Mandarin. So let's start the press conference, and I'd like to hand it over to Jeremy.
Hi, thanks, Jen. Good morning, friends from the media and fellow members of the F&B fraternity. Thank you for spending the morning with us. My name is Jeremy from Persatuan Pemilik Restaurant dan Bistro, PPRB for short. I think before I jump into the statement shortly, let me first, like Jen mentioned, if there's any questions you can address it to us at the end of the statement by raising your hand, or you can actually type the question in the chat box. So let me give you first some context and the lay of the land. Based on a 2016 census that was done by the Department of Statistics, we have approximately 167,000 plus F&B establishments in Malaysia. There is a
offices or food court.
These officers, it's what do you call that? It's a technology based.
Sorry. Okay, as I was saying, there was in 2016 there was a census done, 167 plus thousand F&B F&B establishments. At that point, there was a projected annual growth rate of 5.1%. So that means by 2020, we will have somewhere in the neighborhood of 200,000 plus F&B establishments in Malaysia. What that means is, if you can assume 5 Malaysians are hired by each of these outlets, that means that we have 1 million Malaysians' lives and livelihoods at stake. Okay. Now, this number actually doesn't include the ecosystem that supports the F&B industry. When I say ecosystem, I'm talking about small-time farmers, I'm talking about fisheries, suppliers, distributors, and many more small businesses that support us. Lives and livelihoods are at stake. The continued restriction on dine-in will only bring more harm than good to our ecosystem. This is an appeal to Putrajaya, to the guys from MKN, MOH, domestic trade. This is our cry for help. This is our industry's white flag. Please hear us. Yes, some of you might say our industry is allowed to operate. What's the big deal? Now, when you impose a dine-in ban without any consultation or consideration, there is impact. And I believe that Putrajaya is not aware how significant this impact is to the entire ecosystem. Many restaurants are not purpose-built for delivery-only model. If we were, we would have invested in a cloud kitchen instead of a restaurant. The components in building a restaurant that is critical, of course, is location. We spend a fair amount of investment in sourcing for the right location. We also spend a fair amount on enhancing the ambience, and most importantly, our staffing. Now, if I have a cloud kitchen, I don't have to put any or much thought into any of these aspects. Now, this extended dine-in ban, during this extended dine-in ban, we still incur our monthly overheads, rental, staffing, utilities. All these are still ongoing, whilst our total revenue has dropped significantly. All this is happening, and there is very little government aid or subsidies to help us. Now, put aside all the sunk costs, what is happening in our F&B world is that there is actually a duopoly that currently commands the food delivery sphere. This duopoly actually currently demands for an exorbitant commission charge. We are talking about 30% onwards, simply because of their size and their reach. And what's happening is a lot of restaurants are in a dilemma. We are not sure whether to continue by doing delivery through these platforms or not. Simply because for every fulfillment, for example, my restaurant, for every fulfillment I do, I will lose money. My base cost is between 80 to 85%. If I slap on a 30% commission, I'm actually losing 10 to 15%. Now, the dine-in ban has not just impacted people like me and my employees. The dine-in ban is also impacting, as I mentioned, the ecosystem. Guys like small-time farmers, say for example, you have a 1 hectare land, because of the size limitation, you have a limited range of products. So what happens is, if you have this kind of setup, you would go out to reach out to hotels or eateries and have a direct relationship with them. So every time there's a harvest, you send fresh from your farm to the restaurants or the hotel. Come this dine-in ban or this restriction that's happening to the industry, what's happened is the demand from your clients, which is the eateries as well as the hotels, has dropped significantly. So you as a farmer, you had zero relationship with any middleman. That means your produce cannot get into any wet markets, wholesale markets, or any supermarkets. So what then happens to your produce? What is the kind of exit that the government is providing for these farmers? Aren't you just making these farmers more reliant on government subsidies and handouts? Now, aside from the farmers, we also go to the ground and we speak to producers or distributors, some of which has lost entire sales channel during these many iterations of the lockdown. Many have said that they've revenue have contracted between 40 to 60%. And of course, if this is impacting the ecosystem, eateries are also facing the same. Many eateries are reviewing their cost structure, their manpower structure, because many have experienced contraction up to 90% in terms of their revenue. How can they cover? How can they sustain, right? With the dine-in ban, there's actually very little need for people like waiters. There's very little need for people like hostesses. Even the kitchen staff, we don't require so many because the demand has shrunk tremendously. All of us are trying to reduce costs and to survive. Then what will happen to our unemployed? The F&B operators that we speak to on a very regular basis have come back to us and said that most have less than 2 months cash flow left. And we are anticipating a 60% closure rate across Semenanjung. We are talking about potentially 500,000 households being affected. Now, again, we want to urge Putrajaya, MKN, MOH, all the relevant ministries, please, 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 please engage with us. Have a discussion with your stakeholders. Your stakeholders in this instance is the trade associations and the trade groups. Talk to us. Let's find a solution, right, before it's too late. All policies, all SOPs has to be guided by science and facts. We need to come together to the table. We need to have a discussion because we can bring a wider perspective to you. And we have been at war with this virus for more than 460 days now. Everyone is tired. I recognize that. Resources are also running very low. And frankly, I think defeat is not an option. So what we are asking for is not handouts from the government. What we are asking for is for the government to be reasonable to the F&B industry. All this while, through the course of the 400+ days, the new clusters that are formed in the retail sector in the F&B has been significantly low, less than 1%. That means that the operators, we have been responsible so far, and we've been abiding by the SOPs that has been set. Now, we urge and we appeal to Putrajaya, please let our people come back to work. Please save small businesses. Please let us contribute to the nation again. And let us recover together as soon and as safe as possible. Now, the final thing that I would like to send across to Putrajaya, and I hope our media friends can be the platform for this message, is that we really need to scrap the essential and non-essential label. Every industry is essential. Every job, every life matters. How can we have this debate of lives and livelihoods now? There will be no clear winner. Instead, I think what we really need to do is all rally together as one nation, as a country, and we need to find a balance we need to find the safest possible way for us to exit this as soon as possible. Because we believe life and livelihood matters. Now, collectively, we would like to talk on a few next steps. And I think the first thing we've been advocating for, and our partners have also been advocating for, is that vaccination is key. You know, we would like to thank domestic trade for recognizing economic frontliners through their efforts in REVAC. And we really look forward to having a fully vaccinated workforce very soon. However, you know, what more can we do as business owners, as the trade, as the guys on the ground? What more can we do to help expedite this? As you know, Malaysians are strongly entrenched in social media. And all of us as operators, as business owners, we have a sizable social media presence. Can we offer to you, Putrajaya, access to our social media? Let us be your voice on the ground as well, advocating for vaccine registration, countering vaccine hesitancy, and sharing knowledge or sharing information pertaining to vaccination or the vaccine. These are some suggestions, you know, or we can even reward vaccinated individuals. These are just some suggestions that we as a group got together and we are tabling to Putrajaya. You know, you cannot expect us to sit around and wait for us to exit and allow us to resume operations. There must be things that we can do to help you expedite this and to help reach the end goal sooner rather than later. I think the other thing that we would like to urge Putrajaya to be conscious about is that they have to be transparent and they have to be accountable. Share with us the vaccination arrival timelines. This is to facilitate our planning. This is to facilitate how we manage our people. Imagine 1 million employees in the F&B industry. How are we going to face these 1 million people? Wouldn't it be better if you can give us some kind of timeline so that we can plan, so that we can help them plan their lives as well? This big brother method that Putrajaya is adopting, trying to shepherd us, you know, has proven to be unsuccessful already. And what it's doing is just causing a lot more distrust. Now, I hope that Putrajaya can hear us, help us so that we can plan better, so that we can keep jobs and save lives and livelihood. Now, the second point that we would like to talk about is to seek for immediate government intervention and engage and regulate the two largest food delivery platforms. There's two things here. Number one is we would like to request for a rebate from their exorbitant commission charges. We would like it to be lowered to 15% flat up to January of 2022. This is to help facilitate the survival of the businesses, the food deliveries trade partners, us. But I believe that this is not an unreasonable request because the shortfall in terms of commission can be made up from the increase in demand and order from the public. The other part that we would like to highlight is with this decline in commission, the welfare of the riders has to be still maintained. That means they cannot use this reduction to go and fault the riders and to go and reduce their commission rates. This should not be the way. The welfare must be guarded and the abilities for this driver to make a living has to be protected. Number three, we really urge Putrajaya to consider reopening our sector for dine-in. I mean, let's be reasonable here, you know, let's be guided by data and science. Let's also lean to, if we are unsure, let's also lean to other countries, our neighbors like Singapore, for example, or even EU countries like Germany or France, or even like other Asian countries like Hong Kong. There are good examples on how these countries are facilitating the reopening of the F&B sector that allows dine-in. If they are unsure, if MOH is unsure or MKN is unsure, reach out to us, right? We have also networks and contacts in these other countries. We can pool our resources, we can come together and we can find a reasonable and safe set of SOPs or solutions for us to exit this really terminal period for the industry. Now, I think what the government needs to recognize is that they can no longer keep everyone at home. They can no longer afford to keep everybody at home. If no action is taken immediately, there will definitely be long-term implications. They need to recognize as well that too many lives and livelihoods are at stake. Please don't toy with us. Please don't toy with these lives and livelihoods. I think the last point that I would like to touch on is if Putrajaya or if the government is concerned about control, how do they manage errant operators? I think in all industry, there will always be errant operators. And what we need to do is set up an infrastructure, set up a reporting system. Let us as an industry to help you self-police as well. But you need to activate and mobilize your enforcement teams to complement these efforts. I think for us to sit at home and to wait this out is not an option. We need to work cohesively. We need to work together as a country. Public and private collaboration must happen today, must happen now. And let's try to save the industry. Let's try to let this industry contribute to the nation again. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for sharing such great insights about what actually is happening on the ground of the F&B industry in our country and the dire needs and how bad the situation is. So we'd like to open up for questions to the media. If there are any questions pertaining to the statement that has been delivered by Jeremy, can you raise your hands or you can put it into the chat? Yeah. So in the meantime, perhaps we could get a couple of sharing of insights as well from the other presidents of the trade associations. Okay, we do have from Raven. Raven, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, hi Jennifer.
Hi Raven.
Yeah, Raven from the Malaysian Inside. Jennifer, I just have a question for Jeremy on the rebate that he was asking from the two largest platforms, right? I just need to know what is the current rate.
Hi Raven, thanks for the question. Currently, it ranges from 30% onwards. That is what the majority of the outlets are actually experiencing.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thank you.
Thanks, Raven. Any other questions from the other media? Right, in the meantime, perhaps we can get Ivy from F&B Connects to share about the insights on how the high commission from the two major delivery platforms is actually causing a significant impact on F&B operators. Ivy?
Hi. The 30% or more commissions that is given to the two big players of this delivery is eat into the profit of the retailers. So, which is what are they selling at the retail outlet and what they are selling on the platform is of the same selling price. So there is no increase on selling price to cover the delivery cost, which will affect their income. So let's say for now, it's only 100% deliveries. So whatever that is happening to the shop is only delivery business. So they are not able to cover the cost. Sometimes they have to lose money as well, or just only probably break even.
So if I can jump in, Ivy, yes. I just want to give members of the media in-depth oversight on when we talk about cost structure, what we mean, right? Cost of goods roughly in the range of 35%. Staffing, we're talking about like 20%. Utilities, we're talking about 5%. Rental can be as high as 25%. So when you sum all this, it's about 85%. then you slap on a 30% commission, right? It's not even delivery charge, because delivery charge, the consumer actually pays for it. This is a commission charged to the merchant, which is the restaurants. You slap this on, some restaurants are actually making a loss. Now, in the past, it's okay, because delivery through this food platform makes up maybe 8 to 10% of our total revenue, okay? A lot of restaurants consider this as marketing costs. It was an outreach cost that we can utilize.
Correct.
You have a database of 6 million people, 10 million people. That means I expose my brand to potentially, let's say, 2% of that, right? That means 2% more people are aware of the existence of my restaurant and can try the food. Now, that was fine and dandy when there was a dine-in, right? But when you take away the ability for us to operate normally and usually, and you hamper the ability for us to sustain, and you drive all the sales, all the revenue that comes through these platforms, that means you are effectively asking us to burn our business to the ground. I think that is the part. It's not even revenue, it's not even profits that we're talking about. We're talking about the net revenue that we are experiencing, that there is actually causing a lot of sleepless nights amongst many operators.
Okay, can I just perhaps get opinion from Tony from the Malaysia F&B Alliance? Can you share with us, because the F&B industry has got dining as well as food delivery, even before the pandemic started. And now we also have, I mean, of course, now with the ban of dining, we are relying solely on food delivery. But food delivery is not new in the F&B industry. It was already in existence, and you were already paying such high commission anyway before this. Can you share with us what is then the significant difference, the impact that's causing the F&B operators today? You know, with both situation, right? So before COVID, you had it, and now you also have it. So what is that difference? Why is it so painful to the F&B operators today?
So
the commission, I'm referring to the high commission that you have to pay the two biggest delivery companies.
Right. During normal time, deliveries is more of a supplement, I would say. It's more of reaching out to people that cannot come to the shop, that businesses are okay to pay whatever commissions that the platforms want to charge. In fact, they are actually helping us to distribute our products further from our outlets itself. Majority of F&B outlets are designed and invested as a casual, especially the dining, not the cloud kitchens or not the ghost kitchen that we have been seeing for the past 1.5 years. So during normal times, it's not that we like it. It's not that we are okay with the percentage that they have been charging. But when we have dine-in to supplement as most of our business, I don't think we have, not to say we don't have rights, but I don't think we